Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lamade.
The future is now. The future is now. The future is now.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Shubbz, Lamade's brother.
Peju, Lamade's sister, and Lamade. So I got them here to speak on creativity and discuss and provide tips on different ways different people can explore their creativity. So how would you guys define creativity? Like, what does creativity mean to you? What's a creative?
So to me, creative is someone who thinks outside the box, someone who makes things happen, someone who's able to pivot and maneuver regardless of any obstacles on the way.
Creativity is literally the ability to create. So making something out of nothing, or sometimes it's even something is already there, but developing that, making that look different, or doing things in a different way, like you said, thinking outside the box. And so that can be in any sphere and any industry.
Yeah, because I'll define creativity as just the ability to express yourself in a new way, essentially.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Would you say you're creative?
Yeah, I am. I think very uniquely. That is very unique to me, and the way I see things, even if it's something like traditional, is in like I'm able to provide a new solution or provide a new idea to it. So yeah, I think I am creative. But it only took me until like recently for me to decide that, oh actually, yeah, I am quite creative. Even when I was writing this essay, the way I created the argument was creative.
Exactly.
So.
I think, just to build on what you've said though, thinking uniquely is the start, and that is a great thing to do because everybody sees things differently and everybody's perspective is different, but you have to action it. That's where the creativity comes into place. So you can think differently, but if your actions aren't different, if you're not doing these things or putting these thoughts into action, then it's kind of defeated.
How would you how do you tap into your creativity? Is it just something that you are, or is there like a specific, do you go into it like on a, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, how do you tap into your creativity?
I feel like it's super important to simplify it. For me, for example, I always sort of came up with ideas and stuff, and like you said, executing on it. But it's also like when you're faced with like roadblocks, like how do you maneuver around it? When you're faced with challenges like that is when you kind of see the creative side. So for example, I wanted to start a review website, and I wanted to start writing reviews because I always used to plug people on films. So that made me start thinking, okay, cool, how am I going to put my content out there? And I could have done a blog, but I decided to do a website. And okay, cool, now I'm doing a website. Am I going to pay a developer £1,000 to do the website for me? Do you know what I mean? So I decided to try and learn how to make websites. And with that, I had to be creative. So I had to be creative with how I put my content out there. I had to be creative when it comes to designing the website. So it's taking people on a journey, that whole user experience and everything like that. And then when I'm putting the content out on social media, all these things, grow my followers. So I feel like when you actually put yourself out there, you try new things, you challenge yourselves, that's when you learn how to sort of keep on tapping into that creative mind, because it's like a muscle, do you know what I mean? And you're exercising the muscle when you're actually actively doing stuff. Like you can't exercise if you're standing still.
Oh, I like that. You can't exercise if you're standing still.
Being creative is not down to an industry, it's not down to a job role. It's down to you as a person, really.
100%.
And everyone should exercise that muscle and should try and be creative, like learn new things, read a lot, just expose yourself to so many different things that you can now take one thing and apply it to something else. Do you know what I mean? Like I take in a lot of content, good and bad, but I've taken a lot of new content from like different people from different sectors. Like I try not to limit my mind, so if I'm seeing someone do something in finance, I can bring it over to fashion.
What I'm hearing is that creativity and like problem solving are very is interlinked, because for you to be able to like think creatively, you need to be able to provide a new solution to something that might be a long lasting like problem, if that makes sense.
It doesn't even have to be new though. This is the thing. Like you don't have to be an inventor.
Just do it better than the last person.
Make it different, or even like make it easier. Like you know, working smarter.
Hustling smart. Tailoring it to your niche as well, to your community.
Yeah.
For example, there's so many things that like is out there already, but if I was to do it and my direct community is, say, the black community, I'm gonna change my tone of voice. I'm gonna change that aesthetic, so it's more suited to who I'm serving. So it's just a better mousetrap. Do you know what I mean?
A better mousetrap.
Yeah, it just means like catching people in it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh. Would you define yourself as a creative? What do you do that makes you a creative?
So I never used to define myself as a creative until I started working where I work now. So I do marketing. I do marketing for a shoe brand. So whilst I was sort of trying to get in there, I was doing so many other things, but it was all kind of me being creative, me coming up with ideas, me coming up with solutions. So yes, I would define myself as a creative, but before I used to get stuck in the fact that I'm not a painter or a graphic designer or an artist or whatever, so I thought I wasn't creative. But now I see that being creative isn't just down to like what you can do, but also like your mind, like just being someone who thinks of different things at the times.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, for someone who used to write a blog, that is creative.
Yeah.
Like, that's a creative thing to do.
And what about you?
Yeah, I mean, similar to him, I never really thought of myself as a creative, but exploring it further, everything that I do is creative. So I'm an event planner, and so that requires me to be creative in how I deliver events and, you know, the themes and putting things together and design. I own a beauty company, so doing hair, you have to be creative in the way that you style hair. In doing makeup, that is art, so that is also a creative thing. From developing certain skills and expressing ourselves in certain ways, that's how we've realized actually we are creative. And I think everybody is creative, everybody has the ability to be creative. It's just about building on those skills, it's about exploring that further. So if you're doing something, say you work in a specific industry that isn't necessarily a creative industry, how can you create something that is unique, that is different? It doesn't even have to be unique, but, you know, designing something, making something doing something that isn't normally done.
Is there some things that are like off limits in terms of displaying creativity, or can you display creativity in everything?
Not everything has to be creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes just get the job done.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and some like industries have very strict rules, so you have to follow like if you're a doctor and this is the way that they do things, that you have to administer things this way, and this is how it has to be done. But like I said, even if you don't, you are limited in how creative you can be in that industry. There's things you can do outside of work that's creative. Cooking is creative.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who are kind of put down or discouraged because they don't see themselves as having a creative job or being able to be in a creative industry. But you also got to remember that like there's so much going on like in the creative industry, that there's so many opportunities, and even just like having like personable skills, or like being able to speak and converse with people easily, or being a nice person, all that stuff, you can kind of find something in that industry that can work well for you. Doesn't mean you need to know how to draw, you need to know how to code, you need to know how to design.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need human interaction and someone who can have that consumer facing role. So like don't get discouraged that you can't go into the creative industry because you're not creative.
I think just to add to that actually, everybody is different and everyone is unique.
Yeah.
And we all think differently, we see things differently, and so even just coming with a different perspective can provide a solution that is creative, can be creative.
This is one thing I really want to let people kind of know and understand. So I started working in January, and obviously like it's a big brand. Like I kind of was unsure what value I brought into the table and stuff like that, because I don't design, I don't do all these things. But really and truly, they need someone who's unique, they need someone who's close to the consumer, they need someone who's able to bring fresh perspectives, fresh ideas. Like not a yes man, do you know what I mean? And like right now, us being like young, black, being of the culture, like there's so much value and power in that when you are speaking to these brands, that you legit can have your seat on the table, because they need to know what's going on, or they need someone who, so they don't sound tone deaf. They need that middleman, do you know what I mean? And you're the middleman, so Like you got to stop doubting yourself and thinking you don't bring nothing to the table when you're bringing yourself to the table, which is enough value. Do you know?
Yeah, but I completely agree with what you've said, but in order for you to actually be able to do that, you have to have something to say. You have to have something to bring to the table, because if you do go there and you just think, well, if you're not thinking outside the box, if you're not trying to find solutions or give ideas or suggestions and things, then you will be of no value.
It's like just figuring out what type of value you can bring, or what you have that's not tasking, if you know what I mean, or what's natural to you.
Yeah, what comes easy to you. That's also another thing, because passion is everything. What comes easy to you isn't necessarily the same what comes easy to other people. So that is also a value in its own.
What top 3 tips would you give to somebody who's trying to develop their creativity, somebody who doesn't really, they're in the beginning of the journey of creativity, essentially?
So 1, taste as much as you can, learn new things, don't limit yourself, read a lot, watch a lot. Like there's so much on YouTube. Like I've legit unlocked another part of YouTube in what I'm watching right now. Do you know what I mean? I'm just watching a lot of like architectural stuff, or like history of like Africans and like Edo people, like Yoruba people. So much. There's so much knowledge and stuff out there. So like just learn as much as you can, taste as much as you can, speak to people, see what others are doing, try new things. Obviously they're all kind of interlinked, but trust me, it's called the law of inertia. The more you do, the more like kind of you build up, and from there that's where things start coming to you. Like you said, nothing comes to you when you're standing still.
Well, I mean, it didn't really leave much for me to say. I mean, definitely don't be afraid to try new things. Honestly, the worst that could happen is you don't like it. Like, try new things. Honestly, learn new skills. I have graduated from the University of YouTube. I have learned so much from YouTube.
I'm still a student.
Bruh. I've graduated from the first degree.
First semester.
Like, no, honestly, there's so much out there. Like, I've learned so much on YouTube. Obviously, like I said, because I was kind of forced to do certain things for my business, it's caused me to, just discover a whole new world of like editing and designing, and I actually really love it. So you just wouldn't know unless you try, isn't it? And yes, speak to people. It can help you develop your perspective. It can give you new ideas. You know, we learn from people all the time. Even
like you said, like when I say speak to people, I mean like speak to people that are outside of your circle. Like you know group think. Like when you're around the same people all the time, you all think the same, and that's what happens in these companies as well. But when you're speaking to different people, you start seeing the world as bigger than it is. Do you know what I mean? Like different perspectives is so important.
There's so much out there. Explore your creativity. Honestly, it makes you feel more fulfilled in life.
You surprise yourself. You don't know how much is actually in you until you're put into those situations. Any final words?
Have skin in the game. You don't learn by standing still.
Don't limit yourself. You've got more in you than you even know.
Get in the arena and try. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Make sure you like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. Thanks. Bye.